Today I'm going to show you how to knit the casing for the top edge of the Pretty Boxes project bag. It is a double knit or knit in the front and the back separately. So in the pattern you have the option of just double knitting this or actually putting it onto 2 needles. So far it is divided in half, and I have done 1/2 of the top of the bag. So now when I flip it over, I have this second half on a small needle just being held, but it could also be on a longer needle. And then I'm going to double the number of stitches that are on this top edge. I'm going to be using a long tail cast on to do this, and I decided to make the interior of my casing yellow, but you can use any color you want. And you could also use the main color brown if you prefer that. I just thought I would make it bright. So I had to take a piece of the yellow yarn and get a long tail prepared enough to cast on stitches all the way across the top of this. I have reduced the size of this needle to a US 3 from a 5 because we want this casing to be knit tightly. And if you do the double knit, you always go down a little bit in needle size. So I have started at one end where I just knit my first stitch in brown, but what we're going to do is we're going to cast on with the yellow using a long tail cast on, and then we're going to pick up the brown and we're just going to knit the next stitch on this needle. So I've locked in those 2 stitches there, and I'm knitting that next stitch. Then I'm going to pick up the yellow and cast on. And then I'm going to pick up the brown and I'm just going to knit one. So it's just a bit of a slow process. Cast on a yellow stitch, pick up those 2, cast on the yellow stitch, then go ahead and knit the brown all the way across. I did kind of develop a 2-handed technique for this. So if you can keep these over here and you can knit with your right by throwing that stitch, and then you can pick up with your left here and tighten those down, and then knit by throwing with the brown and then picking up the 2 yellow. So it can be a little more efficient for you. Basically what I'm doing is I'm using my 3rd, 4th, and 5th fingers to grab the knitting. So I'm grabbing the knitting there so my 1st and 2nd fingers can stay up. So I let go and long tail cast on, and I grab with those 3 fingers and pick up, and I let go and I long tail cast on and I grab with just those 3 fingers and I knit, let go and knit, let go, so that I can grab the yarn and then knit. So it does become pretty smooth if you can get your fingers to follow. And you'll have in every other stitch. Now you can go ahead and double knit from this section where you will be knitting the front stitch with both yarns in the back and purling the back stitch with both yarns in the front. And you just slip and go back and forth, back and forth. Or if you prefer not to double knit this section, then you can now, once you've got them doubled, you can take another needle and put all of the brown stitches on a front needle and all the yellow stitches on a back needle and knit. Once you get them picked up, you're going to knit 7 rows, and then you're going to do a 3 needle bind off at the top. I will be back to show the double knitting technique. Okay, I have doubled my stitches across the top, and now I'm going to double knit the entire row by turning my work around. I'm going to start working at this end with my brown stitch. So since I am looking at the back side of my work, I'm going to have both yarns in front, and I'm just going to purl that first stitch. Now I'm going to move the yarn, not the tail. I don't have to worry about the tail. Move both of the yarns to the back of the work, and I'm going to knit the yellow stitch. These first two are a little tricky, but after that it'll get going quite well. So now I'm going to move both yarns to the front, purl the brown stitch, move both yarns to the back just as if you would knit, and knit the yellow stitch. Both yarns to the front and purl the brown, both yarns to the back and knit the yellow. All of these yellow stitches will show up as knits in the front here, and then on the back side, or actually the right side of the work, all of the brown stitches will also show up as knitting, just as you have over here, knit, and you've got a channel in between. Okay, now I'll just show you that same double knitting technique with throwing your yarn. So the first stitch, you're just going to knit with both yarns in the back, that first stitch. Whoops. I have a little piece of strand of the yarn attached there. Then we're going to bring both yarns to the front, and we're just going to purl when we have the yarn in the front. So we're going to purl one side and we're going to knit the other. Both yarns go to the back, and we're going to pick up the brown and knit the brown. We'll snug that right up now. And then we're going to bring both yarns to the front, and we're going to purl the front with just the yellow strand. We leave the brown one just hanging out there. Then we bring both yarns to the back, and we're going to knit with that back, the yarn in the back, the brown, bring them both to the front. They will get a little twisted here. You just want to untwist, bring them both. They're sitting in the front, wrap the front, bring to the back, and knit. Bring them to the front, and purl, and purl. So that's all it is. As you continue to go, they will continue to get longer and longer, and you'll have a two-sided piece of knitting, 7 rows on both sides, and then you will knit 2 together to bind off. Okay, I thought I'd just show you how to split it. Once you've doubled your stitches on the top of the casing and you want to work both sides separately and not do the double knitting, you're just going to slip one stitch and then slip the next stitch. 2 different needles, slip one stitch and then slip the next stitch. So you want all the yellows on one side and all the browns on the other, or all the fronts of the casing or in all the backs separated, however you want to think of it. But we're just putting them in 2 separate sides so that when you get them all the way across half of the top of the bag, you are going to then just knit and purl and knit and purl a stockinette piece on one side for 7 rows, and then the stockinette piece on the other side for 7 rows. See how you've got 2 separate sides here? You're just going to knit, purl, one side, and knit, purl, knit, purl the other side for 7 rows, and then 3 needle bind off that together.